Hey everyone, welcome to HangOutlander. I'm Beth. We're so glad that you're here, and we're sorry if you've missed us. Last week we were not here. We canceled. We just could not get our shit together. Things happened and we couldn't be here. And also we weren't sure that we liked episode 310. So that's how I feel about that one. That's why we weren't here. I don't even remember what it was called. We'll talk about it for a minute. I know a few of you, at least 3 of you, were disappointed that we weren't here. So we're going to talk about it for a minute. We're here to talk about, though, for the main part of this hangout is about Outlander, episode 311, Uncharted. And we have lots to talk about. This is the Turtle Soup episode of Outlander, and it should have been called Turtle Soup because that's why everybody was watching it. And we were excited to see it. We have things to say about it. We're going to get to that. Hopefully you enjoy it. Talk to us on Twitter, #HangOutlander, so that we can see you. If you're talking to us in the YouTube chat, hello. And we will talk back to you. We'll ask you questions. You can be a part of the conversation that way. And then maybe even win a prize at the end if we still have prizes. I don't know that we do. We might have prizes. Maybe. If we do, you can win one. Everyone say hello. Becca, why don't you start?
Okay, I'll start. Hi, I'm Becca. I am sitting on my couch here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, drinking wine. And I feel like I need to just say this now. Never mind, we'll get to it after. But anyway, I'm going to say I'm managing the YouTube comments. I see you all here. You're saying hi. So keep doing that. And I'm going to also try to watch the HangOutlander hashtag too. So yeah, we do have a prize. Tonight, we're going to give away the last copy of Diana's 7 Stones for a huge book. It's this thick, something about stones, and there's 7 of them because I want that out of my office. So if you've already read it, too bad you get another copy. Just kidding. We'll give you other things because I have a lot of other books we can give away, but that is the main prize for tonight for whoever's listening. I'm sure it's a great book. I have no idea. Next, Emily.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm drinking some cider, trying to hold on to the last dregs of fall. I thought this episode was okay. I'm sure we'll have lots to say, and I'll expand on that later. Jana?
Hi, I'm Jana. I am new. And I'm drinking Michelob Ultra because I'm fancy like that.
I don't know why that made me laugh. That's a great beer right
Jana's new to HangOutlander, but she's not new. So that's normal.
Right, yes. First HangOutlander, but I have written some things.
The last few
for
minutes.
that's normal.
Yeah. So we're glad that you're joining us. New people.
Yes. We're happy to have Jana. Thank you for joining us. Happy to have Emily. Thank you for joining us. And we're excited. We're excited to get started.
Rude.
What?
Apparently not.
Are you happy to have me?
What? Yeah, I'm happy to have. Are you happy to have me?
No, I mean, yeah, I'm really happy to have you because one of those weeks last time you weren't here and I had to lead it, and it's the worst when I have to lead. So thank you for being here.
You're welcome. My family has lost their minds.
Yeah.
They're acting like I'm not in the middle of a live. Get out of here! She popped up from nowhere.
I've been all time.
Go away. Anyway, so let's get into it. Let's talk about 310. 310 was called Heaven and Earth. Really quickly, Claire does something on a boat. She's off on the porpoise, and she gets taken, and she's trying to heal people, and she does a really good job of that. She meets this guy named Elias, and he's sweet and young, younger than even her daughter, who she hasn't seen in a really long time. And they form a bond, and it's super sweet. But then she also finds out that Jamie's in trouble, and yeah, it's a strange episode. People die. The strangest part of the episode is Jamie, I think, because it's very off book, very out of character, very against what happens. He tries to kind of cause a mutiny. And yeah, anybody, what did we think of 310? What were your overall thoughts?
I really liked the bits with Claire. I thought that was well done, her interactions with Elias. But yeah, the Jamie stuff was just weird. And I know people tried to explain it like he was frantic to get to Claire and didn't know how she was, and so he was, kind of snapping at Fergus out of anger and frustration. But it just didn't seem like Jamie. I didn't buy it.
Yeah, because I don't remember it, I don't have much of an opinion, but I think that's a problem. I didn't really remember it. However, I would say that it was more interesting than probably the first half of this episode. I think, the Elias thing was cute, but like there wasn't a connection to him. And so I didn't feel so sad when he died. I don't know. Is that sad? Am I a terrible person? I mean, it's hard to be connected to one character you've seen for one episode for less than 45 minutes,
I was a little bit too distracted by the whole poking a giant needle through someone's nose when they die thing that to feel sad. Do you guys remember that? That's the
No,
only
I
thing I
missed
can
that.
remember about the episode.
Why did she do that?
It was like a friend should sew the last stitch on your
Oh yeah, that part.
burial shroud.
And then they had to make sure that the person was dead. Like, shoving a needle through your nose was going to be...
If you aren't dead, you're going to be pretty pissed.
Yeah, I guess I missed that. I saw that they were doing that, but I thought they were doing the fabric. I didn't realize that they were shoving something through that fabric into the person.
There was, for him, there was a sound. There was like that I swear I heard. Maybe I imagined it.
Yeah, it was like gristle. It was
good.
very uncomfortable. But yeah, it was that was.
Oh no.
She gone.
I thought that, yeah, she's gone. Okay, well, that was Beth. This happened to her earlier, so hopefully she can figure it out. And it's probably stuck on her face. Yeah, speaking of gristled, look at Beth's face. That's the face, basically. Yeah, this episode, I'm trying to look. If you're on Twitter, give us some thoughts. Here's Alicia Wrigley. I haven't read this. This is me reacting live. One sentence summary from 310. The episode isn't that great, and Claire, being as intelligent as she is, can make some incredibly dumb decisions, i.e. jumping from a freaking ship at night. I mean, yeah. Like, I was reminded of that as this new episode started. What in the world was she thinking? How did she think that was going to end? The chance of that ending well was so slim. Unless I missed something. Did they see the land? She jumped when they were back in sea, right?
Yeah, it was a good couple miles at least away, I think. So the chances of you just, straight shot going in are pretty slim.
Not getting eaten by sharks, not drowning,
I'm trying to remember in the book, did she end up on the right island?
I actually have the book because I could not remember anything that happened. So I went back and skimmed just before we did this. And she actually, I think she does jump off the boat, but they're inshore. It's not such a big drastic, her jumping off the ship in the middle of the night and floating to shore for 3 days. Bigger than that. It's not nearly such a big, I think it was a good ending to the episode, but it's not such a drastic giant point in the book.
Yeah, she said, Amy Johnson on the YouTube comment said they saw land in the book too, but it was pretty far. But at least they didn't, I don't remember them acknowledging that they saw land in this episode. I mean, maybe I missed that because I wasn't really paying attention. Hi, Beth. Welcome back.
Hi, guys. Sorry. I don't know what happened.
Okay, good. We continued on talking about her jumping and how crazy that was. Just the chance that she was going to end up, she's not paying attention to us anyway. You guys know what we just talked about. Yeah, I mean, I really don't have much else to say about 310. I don't know. There's really not much happening right here on Twitter right now. The sew through the nose was nasty. Yep, we talked about that. Yeah, she was told the tide was going to pull her to shore. Someone liked seeing Beth's child in the picture. Yeah. So 310 was kind of we weren't that sad to miss it. Any other thoughts on it, Beth?
I mean, I think that that the end of it was ridiculous. As soon as Claire's jumping off the boat, I'm like, well, I don't know why that's happening. I don't know why she's listening to a Norwegian goat herdress who can't really speak English and who never comes above decks about what the currents are doing. That didn't make any sense.
Right.
It was ridiculous.
Why would she know?
Yeah, it was stupid. Anyway, let's get into 311.
Right, exactly. It all worked out.
It all worked out and
Of course it did. It's Outlander.
Right.
Yeah, it became the most coincidence-laden episode ever, probably this one, which is ridiculous. What is happening in this story? I mean, I remember when we first started rereading Voyager for In the Water Weeds this past spring, this was the part of the book that I had no recollection of. And I'm sure it's just because it's so banana sandwich that I just glossed over it the first couple of times I read Voyager to get to like back when Jamie and Claire are together. I didn't remember Father Fogden. I didn't remember anything about his dead girlfriend / wife and Mamacita. I had no clue that had occurred when I read it for the third time. That's how crazy this section of the book is. And the episode makes just as little sense in terms of like things that would really happen.
It felt like vaguely familiar, like it was a story I had heard before, but not like I didn't remember the details. Like when I was like, oh yeah, I know he was calling her Mamacita, but like I was like, what is this, another wife? And then I'm like, oh no, that's his mother-in-law. Like I don't remember if he said that. I just figured that out. Again, he could have said that. You can call me an idiot, but I barely pay attention when I watch the show. I was cleaning a shelf. Like I'm just in it for the wine, guys. Just in it for the boozy conversations. And so that I was like, yeah, that's obvious. Like his wife died. Like I knew that, but I also like didn't know. I don't know how I know that, except that I read it a couple years ago. Does that make sense? Feels like vaguely familiar.
Yeah, I had the same issue, which is why after I watched it for the second time, book, and then it was only then that I realized how much they changed for this episode, because they did a ton of changes. There's characters that aren't there, and just the sequence of events and all this stuff that I had forgotten, and then I started reading it. I'm like, oh, they've done a lot of weird shit for this season.
What island are they actually on?
I think it's different in the book than it is in the show, because they kept saying like Saint Domingue or something.
Yeah, I didn't know
like
what.
that.
I assumed it was an island that's changed names.
It's something in very thick Spanish.
In the book, it's like Hispaniola, which is present-day Haiti or something like that.
That's what I was wondering, if it was Haiti. Yeah. In my mind, I was like, I feel like they're in Haiti, but they don't speak Spanish there. Maybe it's Dominican Republic, and which is attached to Haiti. It's probably what it is, and they're Spanish speaking.
Yeah, and I think she's saying Saint Domingo. Domingo is what they're saying, and like even though that's not how they're saying it, and that is where they are.
Yeah, that's probably. Yeah. Somebody will actually ask, please.
Yeah, for real. And it's what cracks me up is that Claire says Saint Domingue like perfect in like this perfect accent or whatever, and like anyway, just it's dumb. But like the actual sequence of events that's happening there, like I still do not understand how the writers broke this episode and were like, okay, so what's going to happen from the point where Claire jumps off the ship to turtle soup? What's going to happen is that
Beth has the worst internet tonight. This sucks. This never happens to her. There must be a tornado coming through Memphis. Well, I think she was going to talk about how the first 30 minutes of this episode, if not longer, is boring survivor, one woman survivor through the woods. And then the rest of the action happens in the last like 15 minutes, is my guess.
And if it was like a 2-hour movie, that survivor spiel might have been interesting. Correct. And like it would have been appropriate pace for the first 60-minute episode. It's like, no.
Right. Like,
I don't care.
Like, show us one like crazy night where we know that she's like in danger in the woods. Like,
what about, to be nitpicky again, but in the book she's only abandoned in the woods for a day, and they made it 3 days in the show.
Yeah, they made it. Yeah, you're right.
Just unnecessary.
Because we had to have the bug night, we had to have the snake night, then there was the first night. So yeah, like again,
rule of 3 thing.
Yeah, that's probably why. Yeah. We get it.
But it's unnecessary.
It was unnecessary because the rest of the episode like picked it up, and got better.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? I'm looking. Julie on the YouTube comment says you can hear Beth cussing all the way up in Michigan. You probably are hearing her cuss. Somebody, I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce your name. Vlinder. It starts with a V. Wow, I can't pronounce your name at all. I'm not even going to try. But this person said they liked the whole episode. Finally, something that's not too rushed. So that's interesting. I guess a lot of times we're complaining. I don't know that I ever complained that Outlander's rushed. I feel like it It takes things slow. Oh, we got just the cats all over.
Yep. Yeah, she wants to get on screen.
Sorry. Jana, go ahead.
Hi.
Oh, Beth's back. Hi,
It's
Beth.
okay.
Hi.
What are
Sorry.
you going to say, Jana?
I was just gonna say, like, I wouldn't say that there was anything like I disliked about this episode, but I mean, like, the slower start didn't work in its favor. But it wasn't like I hated the first 30 minutes. Just me.
Andy, well, actually, it us. The French name for the colony that was Haiti before it was independent. I must have missed her first comment. Yes, it was Haiti. It was called Saint Domingue. That was the French name for the colony that was Haiti before it was independent. So I guess they spoke Spanish because they came from Cuba. Thank you, Andy, for your well, actually, yes. Yeah, and Amy, I agree. I did like her rule of 3 too. I thought that was interesting. Actually, my boyfriend was kind of listening, like doing something in the room, and he's like, "Oh, that's a good way to remember it." So he liked that as well. Also, bringing a boyfriend in to watch this first episode of Outlander in episode 311 is not a good idea because he kept asking, "Why are they doing that? What's that for? What's that? What's wrong? What's wrong with their legs?"
And you're like, I don't know.
And yeah, that's the thing. You have to be like, I don't know, because none of this connects to anything else that's ever been done ever before, ever.
Right. So, Beth, what you were saying, and we tried to continue it because we assumed where you were going, was saying how they built it up. They were just slow rolling, and then they suddenly threw the stuff in the last 15 minutes. Is that kind of what you were saying as far as how they laid out the episode?
Yeah, like none of it is fun to watch. Like I want them to be like have a reunion and like have a reunion on the beach, but like I feel like there's better ways to do it. Like it didn't make any sense for Claire and Jamie to be running towards each other in the surf when he was coming from a boat. Like she would have gone to where the boat was going to reach the sand and been right there. So dumb. Like, why is he running through the surf? It was so stupid. And like I still kind of teared up because I wanted them to have a reunion, but at the same time I was like, this is really bad. That doesn't make any sense.
It kind of fits with what, like, people have commented how, like, Jamie is always telling Claire he loves her and all this sweet stuff, and Claire's just kind of like, yeah, okay. So it kind of makes sense for her to, like, just stay there, and Jamie has to run to her. He has to put in all that effort. Meeting him at the boat would just be too much effort on her part. Jamie has to go 90%.
They could have cut out a minute of her in the wilderness and actually shown the boat rowing. It just seems so disjointed. Suddenly she's flashing the mirror. Next thing he's on the beach. I was like, wait, I know we don't need to see every second of him on the boat, but how did he, what? Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a comment on Twitter right now. It says the whole Jamie landing on the island, leaving the island, and coming back was just weird and choppy. It didn't work. I couldn't even follow it. And I thought what was interesting, I was like, oh, she's going to get to them in time because they just said they're not going to leave until the evening. But then they were on the boat and it sure was still daytime. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I even said, like, in my recap, I was trying to watch, when I watched it the second time, like, watch the sun to see if you could tell, like, oh, she's running through and it's afternoon and they're, you know, but you couldn't even tell that. Like, you couldn't even tell if it was this happening at the same time. And it just was, it just was stupid. It would have been much cooler if she had, like, if the reunion had been, I'm afraid my internet's going to go out again, so I don't even want to like get into like what I want to say. But like, if she had decided to leave Father Fogden and Mamacita and go to wherever the village was, and as she's walking back through the forest, like chances upon them on the beach, you know what I mean? Like, and you know, like meets Jamie in the woods or something like that. Like there could have been other ways to the reunion that weren't this weird choppy thing. And at the very least, like having her come out of the woods while they're still on the beach, even if they're like starting to push off or something, would have made a whole lot more sense than having them all the
more
way
dramatic too, I think. Emily, how did it happen in the book? Remind us.
It's completely different because he, previous to all of this, has gone to look for her on the British ship. So when she gets to the beach, he's not there. It's just Fergus. And she's like, where's Jamie? And they're like, oh, he's not here. Isn't he with you? She's like, no, why would he be with me? But he had gone to look for her on the British ship a while beforehand.
So they don't
completely
have just on this island.
Nope.
Okay.
He comes, I think the next day. French soldier. which maybe they thought was too much. Too many coincidences, one too many.
No, let's talk about one too many coincidences. That mirror in her pocket, how in the world did she have any idea that she was going to need a mirror? Of all the things that she's going to steal out of that man's house, a little pocket mirror, that was going to do it?
Very vain. She's vain.
So she hasn't had that all along. I was like, oh, she kept a mirror in her pocket after she left the 20th century.
She stole it sitting down on his bench when she decided she was going to leave him. Like, and at the time I thought, oh, she's going to leave and she's going to need to start a fire. So that's not a bad idea, although there were matches there. So I was kind of like, why didn't you just go get some matches? But I thought, okay, if she needs to start a fire, she's going to do it during the day, and the mirror's not a bad way to get a fire going. But then it ends up being something that she signals to the boat with. It's like her little 18th century flare gun. And she just happens to have it in her pocket when she bursts away from the homestead and starts running towards the beach. She doesn't have anything else that belongs to her, but she has that in her pocket. I can't even begin to tell you how stupid that many coincidences are.
We needed a voiceover to tell us why she took the mirror.
There are actually times when a voiceover would be helpful, right? Alicia Wrigley on Twitter said she was really confused with the timing of Claire running through the jungle to Jamie and the crew, especially because she was wandering around for days before, which totally makes sense. Like, could have been a beat, like, she was either so close to them and just, like, was walking in circles, which is totally possible, or, like, it's a different beach on the side of their place. Like, who knows? But, yeah, it was strange. How could she get to a beach so fast when it took her 3 nights, right? We know that. 3 days to get to them the first time.
Yeah, and it totally is obviously could easily be a different beach. But that isn't the point. The point is, like, it takes her an hour, even without all of that. Mamacita was there that morning and ran back through the woods with a severed goat head in her hand screaming. So it's not supposed to be that far away. And it still takes her like an hour, 2 hours, half a day to run there. I can't tell because it's bananas. And we didn't see anything about what happened to Jamie and the Artemis, like nothing about the storm. I realized that would have been like a bitch to film, but like you have a lot of money. Quit spending so much money on costumes that are not being used. Let's talk about that for just a second. Irma Hilda's dress that's just sitting there. They made a dress to sit there and do nothing, to be a mannequin and to be talked about. This show has gone overboard on costumes. They care too much.
Well,
could they have given Claire like a second costume change in place of that stupid red dress? She gets to wear her cargo skirt for weeks and weeks, but
I thought that's why they were doing it. Because they mentioned it, right? She could wear this dress, and then she like freaked out and said no, she couldn't. Like, I just thought that somehow Claire was going to wear that dress. Like, why else? Talk about the dress.
Yeah,
right?
It's like Chekhov's gun at this point. Like, don't show me the dress if the dress isn't going to be important. At some point, somebody's going to have to put that freaking dress on. And nothing. It's just sitting there. They made it. They talked about it. They made a big deal about it. Just so we can what? Have another 18th century costume to talk about? It is stupid.
They need something at the Saks display next year.
I thought the way they handled the whole Jamie and all of them on the beach, going back to that, was really badly done too. Like, oh, how about that storm? Well, it's okay that guy died. It's like, it was just the way it felt, again, like they're explaining it to a bunch of idiots.
The captain.
Showing a quick scene of it.
The captain was dead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like they could have like skipped that whole brig part of 3010 and showed us how they ended up on the island.
Yeah.
That would have made more sense.
Totally.
Yeah, it would. I mean, like, it doesn't fully work with like Claire's timeline and like where she's going, but at the same time, anything else, like anything else could have worked to show us where Jamie is. Like, I think that sometimes they hold too closely to Claire's point of view and like sticking with what Claire knows and what Claire knows only, and that's really does everybody a disservice because there's a whole lot of story going on that she's not privy to.
Some good YouTube comments. Heather Harris said, their dresses just sit there. They have to keep Terry busy and off Twitter. She said it. We didn't. And then somebody suggested, why didn't Marsley wear it to her wedding? That would have been a great idea. If we're going to make that, right? That would have been cute.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't such a, what did that lady call her, a cow? That the dress wouldn't fit this cow.
Right.
Maybe Marcelli was smaller.
I'm just trying. Forgot to read the YouTube comments, so I'm trying to catch up. Yep, Andy said, and it's a great point. 309 and 310 should have been combined, and the Jungle Claire should have been a dance storm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we didn't see Claire go through the storm. Yeah. That's what happens in the book.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, there is a bunch of stuff that they cut out of the book. We didn't talk about like Stern. I can't remember his first name.
Yes,
Larry
Lauren.
Stern.
Larry. Yep, Larry.
Larry Stern, the Jew, which is how Diana references him in the book.
Of course, you do.
He's not in this at all, and I know that he's in the book because we just read it. What purpose he serves, other than doesn't he help her get to the village eventually?
Yes, he's the one that brings her to Father Fogden's house. To me, his purpose might have just been to be the only sane one there in a house full of people who are a little bit off. I think that was kind of his role, at least what it seemed like in the book from my quick skimming, but
yeah.
I don't really remember him. So is he like not important enough, I guess, in book 12? No, but people read up to book 14. Does he come back? He's not necessary for the future story, so we don't need to know. Because I think that's the only reason they bring around those ancillary characters, if they're important in the future. You know, when we're sitting here in 2028 having HangOutlander episode 1712.
Speaking of ancillary characters who come up later, there's this tiny flashback of Margaret Campbell saying, a bond away will devour you. And Claire remembering it. And another moment where I felt like, this makes no sense. Please connect the dots better than this.
And, I mean, especially because I should understand what that connection is, and I don't remember. So, like, that's treat me as somebody who's never seen this before. Is that obvious? Like,
okay. I don't remember a bond away from the book. So I'm looking at it as just a show watcher. As just as just someone who's looking at the show, because I don't remember that from the book. And my assumption is this seer crazy girl in Scotland knows something about, or, you know, is crazy enough to know something about more stones in this area of the world in some cave called a Bondaway, because the father says that people disappear there. And if it's said that people disappear there, then Claire's mind churning is probably thinking that there's a stone circle there.
Right.
And then, so eventually she's going to end up in this cave at some point.
Got it.
But those dots are so far apart and so poorly creating a picture for us of some future foreshadowed danger to Claire, that instead of it feeling imminent or feeling cool or feeling like a tidbit that we can kind of grasp onto and look forward to, or that Claire can grasp onto and she's thinking about as she's going forward, she doesn't ask him where it is. She doesn't ask him more information about what's happened there, why he has a jar full of flesh-eating bugs that he got. There's nothing other than just like a look that she has, and then the short flashback. There's nothing drawing us to that connection. And there's no bigger picture that those dots are making. And so it's just kind of a lost tidbit. Yeah. And therefore it's throwaway. Like so many other things that they put in, it's just a gigantic amount of throwaway trash.
Heather Hargrave on the YouTube comment says they're trying to connect the dots too early and need more info before it becomes important.
To be fair-ish and not to be a book Nazi, that's kind of Lawrence Stern's purpose in the book, is he tells her about the cave.
That's what this just was told. Heather said the same thing.
But even in the book, it feels like too early, because there's nothing to tie it back to or anything like that. He just mentions it in conversation.
And why? Like,
there's spiders there or something. I don't know. Something. He's a naturalist is his job, so it's about like, oh, this cave has the spiders that Jamie and I talked about, or I don't, someone can probably correct me on that, but.
Well, it makes sense to me that they kind of like like fuse two characters together, a little bit of Lawrence Stern and a little bit of Father Fogden, like put together to make one character that's giving her that makes sense. And that's perfectly great. And we can talk about something that I did like about the episode, which was the guy playing Father Fogden, who doesn't have like a huge resume. I figured he must be like a British actor who's been in everything, but he's like been in a little bit of Midsummer Murders and that's it. He was so great. I thought he was fantastic.
He was really great. He was funny.
He had a great voice.
Yeah.
He like he played that character who's like a stoner and like a little, and like also a little crazy and like kind of in some ways probably a little bit like he's so henpecked by Mamacita that he's a little bit like malicious a little bit, but he didn't play it. He played it so well that he wasn't over the top. He wasn't silly. I really, really, really enjoyed his performance. I thought he was great.
Yeah, he was really great. I don't really have any more opinions on him other than that he was good. I thought, can we talk about the wedding?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the wedding was awesome. I thought Marcelly was beautiful. Like, I've always thought she was really pretty, but like she looked gorgeous in this scene. And she just, that whole thing with her and Claire, like she became so likable. And I do like her character. I don't think I liked her in the books. I really like her here. I think she has a personality. Like, I just like that. I liked them and her and Fergus together. I thought they were cute. He looked great in this episode. I think he's great looking, but
he looked really good.
Better. Yeah.
I hadn't really thought that before. And I was like,
yeah,
damn.
Me too. That's what I'd say. I know he's a good looking guy, but like I hadn't really thought it until today. I was like, oh.
Well, he looked older in this episode. Like when you first see
he's
him.
Young, right?
I don't think he's that young. I think he's like 28.
Okay, appropriately.
But like he had like chest hair, like he looked like a man instead of looking kind of like late teens. Yeah. He looked a little bit more manly in this episode. But the wedding scene was so great, and I realized that a lot of it is in the book, like all the like the cock jokes and stuff are in the book. I love them. I think they're hilarious. I think it's perfect. Like it's perfect Outlander fodder because you think that they're this priest is not going to be like bawdy and weird, but he is, and it's just. I loved that scene. Whoever wrote that scene, I realized a lot of it came from the book, but the way it played out was really, really perfect. It was a great, great scene, especially Jamie and Fergus's connection. And you're right, Fergus and Marcelly were great. Claire and Marcelly were great. All the needed relationships were present in that one scene. And so it really, along with it being like lighthearted and fun and celebratory. So it was really, 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 really great.
Even just the short look that Claire gives Jamie after he says, Fraser is your last name. Like it just felt very Jamie and Claire. It felt so appropriate. She was so proud of him in that moment. Like really touched. It was pretty beautiful. Thought it was a great scene.
And Fergus is kind of, in a lot of ways, the only child that they've had a chance to raise together, even though she wasn't around for very long. It's the only child that they spent any time parenting at the same time. And she and Fergus have a very unique bond, and obviously Jamie and Fergus do as well. And so giving him their name is, kind of a direct adoption in that moment. And it was very, very sweet and correct and the right way to do it. And so it was great to see a scene that they took almost directly from the book, and it worked really, really well. You wanted to scream like, do it like this. Who wrote this scene? Like write them this way. Keep going. Keep going that way. Do it like that.
This is kind of going back a little bit, but Jess _273 on Twitter said, there are just so many coincidences at this point going forward. I actually liked that, quote, not Rupert and Angus. We're like, dang, Claire shows up everywhere. First of all, I love that she called them not Rupert and Angus. And yes, totally. Like, because I saw them sitting there and I'm like, well, there they are again. And yeah, that was like they even just called out on the freaking coincidences.
Yes, absolutely. I put that in my recap too. Like instead, like the alternate version of that line is, there sure are a lot of coincidences in this story.
Right.
But I have a question about their characters. We've said this before, and I feel like we need to reiterate it every time they pop up. Why didn't they just keep Rupert and Angus around? Like why?
Right.
Or why were we not introduced to these two guys in the prison in Ardsmuir back in episode 2 or 3 or whenever he was in prison? Like,
I think we were.
We were?
Do we know their names, though?
I don't remember them.
I think they just did they did such a good job of building Rupert and Anger's characters, where we just kind of loved them immediately. And these guys are like 3+ episodes in, and I still don't know their names, and I don't care about them.
Yeah, are they
at
on
all.
Twitter?
So that might just been a writing. Like, they could have made them lovable and comedic, like they did with Rupert and Angus. I've been drinking.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's just a bad move on the writer's part.
Yeah, I
They
tried
could have
to
made it lovable.
They're not good. They are Rupert and Angus. That's the thing. That's who they are. That's exactly the function that they're serving in the story, and their characters are no different than them. So the problem is I keep wondering like how we were introduced originally to Rupert and Angus. Like I know they're in the cottage when we very first meet Jamie, but I don't remember like the first lines or whatever that they're saying that like really introduce us to their characters. But I think we're introduced to them separately, and I know that they're both they both interact with Claire specifically apart from Jamie, and that, you know, watching her and all of that kind of stuff. So
and she's gone. Somebody doesn't like Beth tonight. Well, I was going to read this comment from Heidi on the YouTube comment. She said, whatever their names are, they're like a bad sequel. Leave the classic alone, which I thought was pretty good. Yeah, and then other people are saying, because they were all supposed to be shot after Colada, and like we know why Rupert and Angus aren't there. But like, again, we're talking about an adaptation, and they're taking liberties with certain things. Like they changed this episode, right? Why couldn't they have?
If they can keep Murtaugh, they could have kept them. Just make it across the board. Everybody lives.
Totally.
Yeah.
Or, you know, what do we all think that, what's his name isn't dead? Blackjack, right? Isn't that been the hint all along? So Blackjack's still alive. Anyway, go ahead, Jenna.
Oh, I just think like the key of Rupert and Angus was that they had such great interactions with Claire. Like I think in the first shows they were her guards. So we had like really good interaction with Claire and them. And so with these, whatever their names are, 2.0, like I don't remember how they even talked to Claire. Like it's all kind of been like random conversations with Jamie. So maybe they need to have some good Claire time to really endear.
One of their names are Leslie and Hayes.
That's Leslie and Hayes?
Yep, exactly. Like, great. Sure. Glad to hear your names, guys. I'm just reading through the comments to see what everybody has to say before we get to the next section, which we want Beth for. But yeah, they are totally trying hard. I mean, they need the comic duo. Heather said this on YouTube. They're trying really hard to have a comic duo. I mean, that's kind of in a show that's as heavy as this, where there's rape every 5 seconds and Jamie and Claire are gone, you know, disappeared from each other again. They're apart. You need that comic relief. That is why. And they got rid of all those characters we've loved, right? Like even like Dougal, for all his issues, like he did have a great relationship, and like there was great banter, and like he was beloved by the fans. So they're really like, let's think about the people that are left that like the fans love, besides, you know, Jamie and Claire. Fergus, sure, but we're just getting to know him as an adult. I don't know who else.
I think they've done it could have obviously gone the other way, but they've done a really good job so far with Mr. Willoughby.
Yeah, totally.
Not so much comic relief, but a little bit of, he always brings something like lighthearted, which I'm sure we'll talk about as we get to the end of the episode, but he's got little lines that are like, I like you, and you are like something to look forward to.
When he apologizes to the priest, the father. Yeah. And I thought, that was great.
That was adorable.
Yeah.
I think
it's cute.
And they just make him seem like intelligent. In my culture, that is not a disrespect. I did not realize it was in your culture. Like, as opposed to like what they could have done is just make him seem ridiculous. Like it does, you know, like we were expecting.
But it was still funny how he's like, I just didn't know that you guys loved goats so much. I'm sorry.
Can we wait? Okay, does he say goats?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
So in the end, which I accidentally watched, but I have a couple things to say about it. I accidentally watched the producers talking, which I don't usually like to do, actually. But it was just on. I watched it, and whatever her name is, that female was like, we use sheep, and we thought the fans would know. that they weren't they used goats, not sheep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's supposed to be
It
sheep.
was sheep in the books, and she was obsessed about them switching to goats.
But then they switched she said that they thought we wouldn't even know. And I'm like, it was so obvious they were goats, and also they called them goats. So why did she think we weren't going to know?
I think she meant that people wouldn't care that they had switched them.
Wouldn't care. Okay, yeah, I didn't care. I'm sure there's
I didn't care.
some people out there that cared.
Holy shit. If she thinks that we give a shit about whether or not it is sheep or goats.
But they make all the other decisions that they do.
But we don't care whether or not the episode makes sense.
Right, exactly.
Narratively.
No, it all comes down to sheep or goats with me, guys.
That really is that's honestly, that is symptomatic of kind of the whole problem. Like, they really do not understand that we do not care about the minutia.
Right.
Like, make a good show.
Yeah, we don't care if you kill Rupert and Angus or keep them alive. Make us like those two characters. And if you're going to have comic relief and we don't know these two new guys, then we don't give a shit. Bring back Rupert and Angus. They didn't get shot. They survived their shooting. Bring them back.
They kept Squirtle alive, but we're going to care about the sheep-goat trade. Okay.
Exactly.
How do they not understand that? Like, how do they not get that that's not the issue? I mean, I guess it's because so many Outlander fans threw shit fits over Claire, the color of Claire's wedding dress, and the wedding ring not looking like a thistle ring, and just a bunch of other stuff. But it's kind of, there's a million other things that matter more. And I always wonder, is it us? Did we start this? Did we make this happen from the beginning?
Jess on Twitter also said, I literally cringed during those 3 minutes of behind the scenes. It's just Tony and Matt debating and Ron literally learning about the show production like he had no idea what was happening.
Every time. He's like, oh, cool choice, guys.
You guys were in South Africa? What? I missed that.
Let me tell you about the costume, though, real quick, because this one was really cool. That's all he knows about.
She droned on about it at dinner. Somebody said in Twitter or YouTube, sorry I missed it, that Marcelly does wear that dress at the wedding. Is that true?
I thought she was in white.
Not in the show, in the book.
Oh, maybe.
I tell you.
I think something does happen. Something does happen with Ermenhilda's dress in the book. I don't remember what it is, but that's probably it. There is something that happens with it. So that's probably it.
Zemina, I can't say people's names. I'm so sorry. I'm the worst. Feeling like I'm betraying Jamie and Claire for liking Leary's daughter more, but Marcelly is greater than Brianna. It's true.
Yes, let's discuss. Did y'all already talk about that in one of the many times that I was gone?
Yeah, we did. We discussed what a great, beautiful she was, and what a great. I feel like you were here for that. What a great actress she is. And how likable they are together, and just how well.
Just the fact that she's a good actress. That's all we needed. All it takes. I mean, Sophie Skelton's beautiful, and she doesn't look bad with what's his name, but she sucks. So it's impossible to watch those scenes. That's all we needed. Lauren Lyle's really, really good.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Marcelly takes a larger role in season 4 than Brie does, because I can't watch Sophie Skelton. And we need to discuss that really quickly, probably. If my internet doesn't die. I had a discussion with someone who said that we were purposefully malicious and biased against Sophie Skelton. And I have to say, bias means that we wouldn't like her from the beginning for some other reason other than her portrayal of Brianna. Like, we didn't like her in something else, or she's dating somebody we don't
like redheads, right?
Right. Like, we don't like people who are from that particular town in England. I don't know anything about her except that she plays Brianna. And I've only seen her as Brianna, and she sucks. That means I'm not biased. It means that's a very, very objective opinion about her acting, which is horrendous.
Yeah.
That's not biased, and it's not malicious, because she,
it's pretty bad.
She put herself out there, got this role. She should have taken some acting classes before she did it.
Yeah, no. It's not good. I haven't missed her at all. We're going to see her? We have 2 more episodes in the season. I guess we could talk about what we're going to see. We haven't discussed Turtle Soup yet, but
we won't see Brianna again.
We're not going to see her this season at all?
No.
Right.
I feel like they might bring her back.
Or like a flashback. What are Brianna and Roger up to? Let's talk about that for 45 minutes. Then you get 5 minutes of Jamie and Claire, guys. Little children, you were so great. Here's some sheep.
That was like the last episode of season 2. Remember, we got so much Brianna and Roger, and we were like, wait a minute.
Right.
We could have had the Battle of Culloden at this point.
They don't need any time in this season. All of 4, like half of 4 is devoted to them.
That's true.
So
most of the rest.
Oh God, 4's going to be terrible.
We might at least see them like in the present or the 60s.
That's what I mean, like a flash forward. We're not going to see them.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But doing what? Just like hanging out?
What are they going to be doing?
Don't remember they find like that big discovery, which is kind of what prompts
Oh yeah.
Brianna to go back in the first place to warn them of something.
Is that in the 3rd book?
I think
It's
I don't remember. I don't remember.
I think I hadn't read these books. Like
I think it's in Drums, but even regardless, if they have in the next 2 episodes go back to the 60s and show us Brianna and Roger finding some shit, I will lose it. I will not watch season 4. That's how mad I'll be. That's so dumb. That would be so stupid. We haven't seen them in like 5 episodes. They're not even in the second half. Like, don't bring them back up. I'll lose it. I'll lose it.
When people are totally agreeing with us on Sophie. Like, was she some crew member's daughter that wanted to break into acting? There's some really good comments on here in YouTube. But like, we know that. I mean, I think Beth is frozen again. That sucks. But oh no, you're not.
I'm not.
You just make that face when you're frozen, and then
What was I doing?
you just have like a downward looking face, and you're just frozen.
I was reading my Twitter feed.
That's funny. Oh, that must be it. Yeah, I think like we get a lot of shit, and we'll take it because we speak our minds, and like people don't always agree, and that's fine. But the reality is, what we do for Outlander on That's Normal, and then other things is say the things that like other people are thinking, but don't really know what to say. I was Beth and I know a friend of ours who has appeared on That's Normal, but is not a writer of ours. So I won't say who it is. Posted on Facebook the other day, like a couple weeks ago, like how she's done watching Outlander. She's just tired of it. She thinks it's horrible. She thinks it's so boring. And then there was this comment thread that was like 50 deep of people. I have no idea who they are. People in her life, like she's really big in like the geek world, totally agreeing with her. And these are not people that I don't think they read That's Normal. Like, we're not biasing people against the show. Like, people are having a hard time with it this season. It's not just us. And the reason that we talk about this each and every week is because we actually really like the books, and we like the series, and we want it to be so good. And there are things we like about it. We want it to be better. We want to keep watching it. We want people to keep watching it. We want the show to continue, but we get frustrated when it's just not working, which it hasn't been for us lately. And I'm speaking right now for Beth and I. I'm not going to speak for you guys, Emily and Jana, because you're not always on here. But okay, I'm speaking for Emily.
It feels like, you love it so much, it's like your baby, and then your baby grows up and keeps getting suspended from school, and you just don't understand.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Totally.
It's like those people who have kids and they go like, I'm going to let my kid be whatever they want to be. I'm not going to make them go to school. They can go to trade school. I'm going to let them follow their dreams, and they don't have dreams. They just like want to play video games and eat cheese. Like, that's Outlander. They're that kid. They just want to eat cheese and play video games. They don't have a big dream. There's no big overarching dream. Like, they just want to be the accessible show. But that's just eating cheese and playing video games. It's useless. Like, give us a big dream. Be a bigger show. Be better at what you do. Have one hashtag every week.
Oh, and so, okay, let's get to, I know we have to talk about turtle soup before the last few minutes where I'm losing your faces. There you are. But before we get there, or as we get there, I was watching the producer thing at the end accidentally, and Tori, whatever her name is, I literally don't know who that woman is. I don't actually care.
Tony. She's the executive producer. Got it.
Very important. She says the reason we wanted people to be surprised, so we didn't call the episode Turtle Soup. We changed the name, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm fairly sure I named this HangOutlander Turtle Soup because when I went and I looked at the list of episodes, it was called Turtle Soup. You surprised nobody. Like, this was out there that it was Turtle Soup.
Yeah.
I think I pulled
the producers hate surprises. They love giving everything away.
So I thought that was so strange. Apparently the name of the episode is not Turtle Soup, but that's not what I found when I looked it up. And I have access to the press packet. Now, they probably, when they sent it out this week, they changed the name, but I made this HangOutlander 311 like 6 weeks ago. So somewhere I saw that this episode was called Turtle Soup. So you may have changed it, people, but everybody knew it was Turtle Soup. So I was super frustrated by that. Like, are you kidding me?
Also, the first frame was a turtle. So if you didn't get it from that.
Surprises.
Why did they think that we need to be surprised
about Turtle Soup? Like, I know it's coming.
It's like they wanted us to not know it was the print shop, but they gave it away in the first like press room that they had going on. Like you're not going to surprise book readers. They're going to figure it out anyway. They've charted out what they think each episode is going to have in it based on their 75th reading of the book in the first place. There's no need to be surprising. Just do a good narrative arc. Make Claire run through the jungle for a reason, not just to show Claire in the jungle. Like, oh God, I can't talk about it anymore. Let's talk about the turtle soup scene, because I said in the recap, turtle soup is one of the like.
Oh no,
it's bad.
Oh, I hate her.
Ryan at Turtle Soup.
Stop it, because I didn't read your damn recap. Did anybody read Beth's recap? What did she say?
I read it. The thing that stood out to me the most was like she was so annoyed by. I mean, she was annoyed by a lot, but but what I mostly identified with was like they're like sultry sex voices, and how it just gets so awkward. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is what has been bothering me about so many of Jamie and Claire's sex scene. It's like this sultry porn star voice. Like I can't, like it just, I cringe. I can't take it seriously. Like it doesn't seem like realistic sex.
My first viewing of this episode was I was visiting my parents at their house, and they watched the show. My mom's read the books, and we watched it. And I had to leave during the turtle soup scene and my dad was like, I can't watch this anymore.
Really?
It's like, yeah, it's like the sex voices are just like, tone it. It's supposed to be, I think, a more of a lighthearted kind of silly, you know, she's drunk, she's fevered, sexy. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that the lighthearted part of it was really good. I actually forgot she was drunk on the soup, and I'm like, I was like, oh, have we seen Claire drunk? Like I thought
Drunk Claire was really fun. I did
really
like
fun
that
and
aspect.
cute.
I like Drunk Claire. I want to hang out with Drunk Claire.
Yeah, Drunk Claire seems really fun. But you're right. Like and part of it's probably that they're friends. Like they've been doing this a while, and I bet that like having sex as friends like is just like I think they're good actors. But I think there's a reason why the Geneva and Sam sex scene was like sexy, and this Claire and Sam scene, like it feels like a lot more familiar. I can't say it. I've drank too much wine. They're both of those words. I don't know which one I mean, either familiar or familial. Both of them work. But it does seem like that. You're right. The voice, especially Sam's voice. I can't really picture Claire's.
Well, Claire just does a lot of breathing. Like heavy breathing. You're like, all right, tone it down.
You're muted, Beth. Beth, tell us what you're going to say in your recap. Jana did tell us what you were annoyed about, though.
I mentioned Sam's sultry sex.
I don't know what's going on.
Sultry sex.
Say it again?
I mentioned Sam's sultry sex voice and how annoying and unattractive it's become.
Yeah, that's what we talked about.
I would turn him down if he tried to get in my pants with that voice.
Well, does anybody talk to each other that way when they have sex? Like in the book when Jamie says like, it's inconsiderate like your nipples staring at me brown as cherries. Like that's kind of he's like sarcastically like, it's inconsiderate. Your nipples are looking right at me. It's like that. And Sam's all, with your nipples as round as cherries. And you're just like,
it's horrifying.
It's taking you forever to say that. And I'm dried up like a cherry in the time that it took you to do it. It's disgusting. Why can't they just be chill and like each other and have like a casual intimacy? Why is everything like taking forever to get out? It's gross. I hate it.
I said that I thought that like they're like friends. It's like really hard for them at this point to like have sex.
I think that the sex part, the actual physicality of the scene is
It's just
great.
the build up.
It's the line delivery.
Okay. Yeah.
Their line delivery is not sexy and not realistic. Those lines are not written to be like, they're written to be like the casual intimacy of long, intimate partners. I mean, Ryan, do you ever look at me like, come here? Or are you just like, you want me to stick it in you? Like, that's what we say.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, he uses words like wiener. Like, that's the casual intimacy of a long marriage. We've been married 16 years.
That's why we like Jamie Fraser, because he doesn't use words like wiener.
I get that. Go away. We can see your love handles.
If anyone ever said that line about cherries and nipples to me, I think I would have to leave. Like, I would just be like, this is done. Even if we're like married, I'm like, divorce.
My boyfriend laughed.
I would file for divorce.
It's terrible.
It's just not meant to be said that way. I've never read the book and thought that Jamie's like taking his time saying these seductive things. On top of the fact that he's not trying to seduce her in that scene. He's trying to get her to go to bed.
Right.
Like, it's just not right. And I don't know, it can't be the direction because there's a lot of different directors every episode. It's not the direction, it's Sam and Katrina. Like, that's how they think the sexy talk should be. And it's grody. It's grody. Other than that, I thought the scene was fine and cute, and I liked the ending, even with Willoughby listening in at the door.
Yeah, me too. I thought that was cute.
I thought it was funny.
And it was nice to have a sex scene that wasn't like super fraught or like overly romanticized or whatever. It was nice for them to have like a fun, funny, like, but good sex scene. That was nice.
Aaron
She just
Shaw
wanted her
said-
soup.
I know. Aaron Shaw says she's constantly giggling during the sex scenes because the seduction's so awkward sometimes.
Yeah.
I was
It's
like kind of
embarrassing.
embarrassing because my boyfriend was watching it with me for the first time, and I was like, oh God, what's he gonna think? Like, he's gonna be like, why do you watch the show? I think he didn't understand enough to know like why. I think he was intrigued, like, okay, why is she watching this show? There's gotta be something here I'm missing. And I'm like, no, not really.
You're not missing anything. Nothing's fitting together in the first place. We need to probably wrap this up and announce a winner because my internet will go out and I have to end the broadcast. So
yeah, so our winner for the week is on Twitter, Jess_273. She had awesome comments tonight.
Yay, Jess.
Yes. Please email us at admin@thats-normal.com and we'll get out a book. If you don't have that book, we'll send it to you. Otherwise, I've got a bunch of other books that are not Outlander related, but we'll talk about it.
Yay.
We'll figure out what you want. But yeah, thanks so much for joining us, Emily and Jana.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for holding down the fort and being here and talking when I
Doing your job, Beth. Doing
I
your
know.
job.
You can take over. We got 2 more weeks. If you want it, you can have it.
We will be
Seriously, though,
back.
join
Go
us
ahead.
next week. Join us next week. Same time, same channel. 10 o'clock Monday night. We'll be here talking about the penultimate season 3 Outlander episodes.
Can't wait.
All right.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. Bye. Thanks.